Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today I'm answering a Dear Ruth Theresa question. So today is National Autism Day, and I have a couple of questions from some of my autistic family members or people that have autism that are my clients. And so we are talking about kind of a lot of different things about autism. And so hopefully I'll answer a couple of questions that you have. And if you have something new or different and you want me to answer it for you, please let me know. Okay, here we go. So the first question is, why do autistic people or adults have sensory issues? For example, can't wear long sleeves or can't wear long pants. Usually it's the sensory that's kind of triggering them in some way. And I will say sometimes it's more of like an angel thing, because sometimes when their angels come in, they'll get goose pimples all over their arm, and it's one of those. And then when they put on the long sleeve shirt, it's kind of connecting to that as well, kind of making them feel like there's an angel in the room, and they may not even be able to explain that's why it's happening. They can just understand that that's what's happening to them. So that's some kind of something to keep in mind, and it's usually a sensory issue for them because of that, because they're sensing that energy already. So question number 2 is, why do some autistic kids or adults have speech issues? Well, one of the things that's really interesting, and I remember answering this for a couple of clients of mine, is sometimes they don't feel like they require talking, or sometimes they don't feel like they require talking in the way that someone else would talk to them. A lot of autistic people have kind of like telepathic communication, and if they're having telepathic communication, to go back into words is kind of like a step backwards. It really is. So if your child is only answering you sometimes or not speaking hardly at all, it's one of those, stop reading their mind or stop picking up the energy like, oh, I think they're thirsty, or oh, I think this is what they need to do, and make them ask you for it. The more you do that, the more they will start going through speech to communicate with other people. My third question is, why do autistic kids or adults require a regimented schedule? So the best way to put it is, the more clairsensitive you are, the less off a schedule well you do. It's kind of a strange thing. A lot of clairsensitives have a lot of issues with keeping things on time or keeping things in a rhythmic pattern, although we do better when it's in a rhythmic pattern, but we usually have a hard time setting it for ourselves. So usually the people around us have to assist us in some way to set up that calendar for us. Sometimes people are very high functioning in this area, so they can kind of set up their own calendar, and that can really help in a lot of different ways. But I guarantee you, clairsensitives usually have a major issue with time. I myself have a problem with time issues. Sometimes people tell me like, okay, I'll come back in 10 minutes, and they'll come back and I'll be like, I thought you were gone for 10 minutes. And they're like, yeah, I've been gone for 30 minutes. Like, no concept whatsoever of time. Time for sensitives doesn't kind of calculate in our system very easily, because really time is only something that we deal with on Earth. It's not something that we deal with other people. Let's see. Question number 4 is, why do many autistic kids or adults have issues sleeping or staying in their bodies? And I will tell you, really what's happening is they're really kind of that astral projection, and kind of, they're all okay. It's one of those, but their astral body or their soul body comes off and their body's still here. And they go off and kind of do other things at night, and then they come back. And it's something that a lot of people have issues with. Usually it's a clairvoyant issue, but it's one of those, one of the things that's really important to do is to understand is the way they're dealing with it is probably the best way they know how. And so kind of giving them kind of like a buffet of like, what are some of the things that you would like to do? You can also communicate with their angels and guides and let them say, hey, we're not going to be traveling tonight, or we're not actually out tonight, and we are going to stay in our beds, that sort of thing, and that helps. And then sometimes they just don't sleep very well because of the energy in the room. That's where autistic people do really, really well with salt lamps near their bed, the same nightly routine. So it's kind of like their body gets used to that rhythmatic kind of like, at this time we have a shower, at this time we're in bed, at this time we do this time, and it kind of really helps set the tone for them going to sleep and sleeping well throughout the night. Question number 5 is, what is the best way to calm down an autistic child? This is kind of really interesting because when you're dealing with an autistic child who's having a meltdown or whatever else, a lot of stuff, what usually happens is an adult tries to come in and kind of like force them to calm down. And that's really not the way to do it. One of the best ways to do it is you stay calm. They're going to come back down in just a minute. It's one of those, but if you kind of rocket them up, they'll just kind of amp up again. So one of the great things is to calm yourself down, or even try to meditate yourself. I know it can seem really difficult if someone's like yelling or screaming or hitting the floor or whatever else, but the sooner you start calming down, the calmer they will start to calm down, and it just makes things so much easier. So when an autistic child is going to have a meltdown, or you kind of like, oh, this is going to set them off, start calming down your energy, so when they kind of explode, they can come back down. The other part to this would be is, if you know this is going to happen, give them an outlet. One of my clients and her son has a major outburst at times, and so they gave him, it's kind of like a ping pong paddle kind of looking thing. It's a little bit longer than that though, and he can go outside and hit a tree. And so when he's angry, that's what he does. And it has worked wonders for him to be able to get out that anger and that frustration, and then calm down to some point, and so he can then start communicating with his family again. Usually when he's in that state, it's one of those like he can't be talked with or anything else. So it allows him to amp up and then amp down and really calm things out. So question number 6 is how to talk to an autistic child about a subject that usually triggers them. This is what I would say is the best way to do it, is letting them know, I know this subject may trigger you. This is something that we've tried to talk about in the past and it hasn't really worked. So let's try to talk about it again today. And as soon as you get uncomfortable, if you give me a sign, whatever that sign is, maybe it's like one finger, maybe it's like I'm finished, I'm complete, whatever it is, talking to them in increments actually helps. Or letting them know that if at any time during this conversation you want me to stop, all you have to do is say the word stop. I will stop talking and we'll take a break for a period of time. Putting the child in charge makes things so much easier and allows them to kind of know when they're kind of getting to the upset stage, and asking them like, would you, what I'm saying, are you upset? Would you like to go hit the tree? Would you like to go for a walk? Would you like to do something else to get that energy out so that they can calm back down and you can continue the talk? That is the number one ways to deal with an autistic child or an adult, and giving them the best way to communicate with you is one of the best ways I've found. So let's pull a couple of angel cards and get us a little bit more information about autistic. So what I get is playfulness. The more your energy is playful around them, the more energy they are going to have that's playful, the more that they're going to want to communicate, the more that they're going to want to be easy around your energy. Anything that you can do to calm their energy down is going to be helpful. New beginnings. Start a new beginning. And sometimes just admitting like, okay, I didn't know what was going to help, and now we found some things that have really helped both of us communicate with each other. So let's keep doing this. And talking about like, that's part of the past, and now we're trying to do this and we're making changes, and I'm making changes as well as you. And so let's work together to make this something that we both like. And if there's something that we want to talk about or change, we are more than happy to make some adjustments. So letting them know about that is really good. Study. When you start studying their behavior, you can tell when they're about to be set off. You can tell when they're about to be triggered. And so it gives you some ideas of when this is happening, Are we in a closed environment? Are we in an open environment? Are we at home? Are we not at home? Because we can't just live at home constantly with them and never give them any outings or go anywhere. So giving them some releases to that can really, really help. I do know that several of my energy sprays have really helped several autistic kids to kind of like calm themselves down when they're out in public. So when they get home, they know what to do next. Harmony. What you're really looking for is peace and harmony with them. What you really want is for them to feel peaceful and at home in different environments and in different places. That is the number one thing that I think most parents of autistic children want, is them to feel comfortable and feel accepted for who they are. They are very special individuals. They have such amazing abilities already on board when they're born. And sometimes that can make them a little bit more sensitive, and sometimes that can make them a little bit more different from everybody else. But different is always a good thing. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.